Jovan, it's always a pleasure. You know, this Lakers Jekyll and Hyde season really encapsulated this past week. They go out and clobber the number one team in the West in the OKC Thunder, and then on Wednesday get demolished by the Kings. And that prompted you to call it, quote, arguably the worst defeat of the season. How is it that this Laker team, in such a big moment, can lay such a giant egg?
Yeah, well, I'm going to remove that arguably. I think it was the worst loss of the season, just given the context of, entering the game. Darvin Ham laid out the stakes. This was a team that was only a game and a half above the Lakers entering that matchup. Lakers were going to face them twice over the next week. And the fact that the Lakers had such a great start, come out, lead by 19 points late in the first quarter, and in less than 9 minutes, it's a complete turnaround where Sacramento takes the lead back. They outscore them by 40 points over the middle portions of that game, and it goes from looking like a Lakers blowout to a Kings blowout. And for them to fall short that spectacularly is just, to me, it has to be the worst loss of the season. And
it really makes me wonder, who are the Lakers? You and I talked at the beginning of the season and about the importance of this team being healthy. And you look at now this season and how AD and LeBron have been very, very healthy. In fact, they've only missed collectively one game. And yet, you just never know one night to another night what you're going to get out of this team. So as we look down the stretch of this regular season, which team do you think is going to show up in crunch time?
I'm still bullish on the Lakers. I think that, depending on how the top of the West shakes out, there still is a path for them to go on a run here. But I mean, it's really going to come down to, can they get out of that 9-10 bracket? I would like to see some more consistency, though. And if it just continues to be win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, then I think you are looking at a 9 or 10 seed. And at that point, it seems like they're probably losing either in the play-in or you're the 8 seed, and your just odds are much lower.
All right, let me ask you about their building mates and the Clippers, because as we came into this new year, it looked like the Clippers were on this trajectory where they may open up the Intuit Dome by hanging their first banner in the rafters, and yet now they have stumbled, blowing a couple of big leads down the stretch and losing Russell Westbrook. So what do you see out of the Clippers? Is this just a little glitch right now? Do you still consider them one of the top teams in the West, or are they showing their true colors at this point?
I think it's just a glitch. I would still put the Clippers at number 2 in the West behind Denver. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, like that trio is as good as it gets in the NBA. Right now, the West is like a big game of rock, paper, scissors. It's really going to come down to what are the matchups, like how do strengths and weaknesses clash, and so they could have the misfortune of maybe Denver's the 1 seed and they're the 4 seed, and now all of a sudden they have to play Denver in round 2, and that's not a matchup I like for them. But if they can stay on the other side of the bracket, they can at least make the conference finals, and then who knows? Like, I'm still bullish on the Clippers. If I had to pick the Western Conference Finals right now, it would be Denver, LA. Of course, that's assuming they're on opposite ends of the bracket, but I think the Clippers will be fine.
Obviously, Denver, the defending champions. If you can take any team in the entire NBA that is the biggest threat to the Nuggets repeating at this point, who beats them in a 7-game series?
The Boston Celtics. And I know that's not an answer that Laker fans are going to love, because that would give Boston banner number 18. But Boston's putting, I don't think people realize how great of a season Boston is having. Like, if you look at their point differential, they're on par with the 2017 Golden State Warriors and the 1996 Chicago Bulls, who are arguably the 2 best teams of all time, or at least in that conversation. I'll still pick Denver just because I think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. But Boston on paper, with that starting lineup, that top 6 that they have, they're another team that can play big, play small. They got a bunch of wings, best shooting team in the league, one of the best defensive teams in the league. And I think if for some reason Denver isn't holding the trophy in June, I think it's likely Boston.
You're right. That's probably not a popular answer with our audience, but Jovan, it's always fun to talk. It's always fun to talk basketball with you. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. That's Jovan Buha. He is the NBA beat writer for The Athletic, and we are back with more right after this.